creates opportunities for better jobs, income, and lifetime health. Imagine if your access to college depended on one single test, a bad test that doesn't measure anything but where you're from and your family's income. Many students live this reality because they still have to take the SAT or ACT to get into college. These were originally tailored to keep minorities out of college, still an effect that creates stress and doesn't predict student success. I have personally seen how much anxiety these tests can cause as I've watched my brother and sister study for them. And after researching, I'd like to persuade you on why colleges should eliminate these outdated tools. To do so, I'll briefly explain the history, show you how they continue to perpetuate bias, and I'll show you how these are poor predictors of college success, and discuss their harmful effects on mental health, and discuss some better alternatives. To do so, you might ask, why should I care? I'm already in college. If you care about equal opportunity for all, you should care about this. Standardized tests are biased. College admissions tests, like the SAT, were first developed by eugenicists in the 1920s. These scientists believed intelligence to be genetic, trying to prove the superiority of the Nordic race group, which was essentially just white people. Even though modern tests are not deliberately biased, because they reflect race and income disparities in American education, they create a system where wealth, not ability, determines someone's access to college. Black, Latino, Native Americans typically score worse on standardized tests. It's not because they're not as smart, it's because it's more measuring the family's income rather than their intelligence. Children from the wealthiest 1% are 13 times more likely to score a 1300 or higher on the SAT. Why is this? Studies show that test questions align more with what is taught in rich, predominantly more white schools, and most low-income students can't afford test prep. Rich students are also able to afford to take the test multiple times, which is a really, really, really big advantage and is not fair to people from low-income communities. Even if these issues were solved, the SAT would still be a very poor predictor of college success. For example, a study by the University of California tracked 80,000 students and showed that the SAT was a weak predictor of first-year college GPA. High school GPA is actually the strongest predictor of how you're going to do in college, GPA-wise, and the graduation rates. Even if these tests were effective, testing creates a ton of stress, and surveys show that students often feel like their future rely entirely on these test scores, which is not something that anybody should have to deal with. This is super stressful and hard to maintain, along with these test prep courses that take 60 hours most of the time and don't actually prepare you for what you're going to be taking on the test. This is also a very big effect because you lose a lot of precious time studying for these tests. As I've shown, standardized tests don't predict student success, and holistic admissions, in my opinion, is a way more fair alternative and is more beneficial to everyone. Colleges can look at high school GPA, and they can also evaluate based on some essays, extracurricular activities, portfolios, and interviews. This system works. During COVID, most schools dropped testing, and applications for minorities and low-income students surged. In 2020, the University of California eliminated standardized tests and continues to admit qualified and very diverse students. As I've shown, standardized tests are biased and are not effective at predicting student success. Even if they were useful and they were not as stressful, I don't think it is a good way to do it by any means. Standardized tests are outdated, harmful tools in college admissions, and it's time for us as a community and colleges to move beyond them. Even if you are not directly impacted by standardized tests, it's a social issue that everybody should care about if we believe in equal opportunity for all. Thank you.